What's up, guys? My name is Marcos here at the Scoop Troop, and welcome to our review of House of the Dragon, Episode 2. Jacob and David were not able to join me on this review, but join us on Tuesday when we give our predictions for the upcoming episode and also give our thoughts and review of Episode 2. Episode 2 was another strong episode that really brought us into the heart of some of the things that we love about Game of Thrones, whether it be the political drama, complex emotions, and complex characters. This episode, titled The Rogue Prince, really focused around three main storylines, one of which is the infighting of the small council, the second being the struggle of Rhaenyra coming to terms with her heirship and also her relationship with her father, and third, the intentions of Daemon and kind of what he's doing over there at Dragonstone. Going into the show, we were a bit worried that they were going to focus a lot more on spectacle and the dragons instead of really pulling into the drama and the dialogue that Game of Thrones was so loved for. And this episode just gave me reassurance that they're really going to focus on the drama and the infighting between these characters. And that was just a joy to see in this episode. Whereas the last episode was mainly focused around who is going to be the heir to the Iron Throne, this one really honed in on who is going to be King Viserys' next wife. We open up on the small council where they're discussing possible wives for King Viserys, and he's not really big on the idea. Well, everyone had their hand to play in the matrimony that was to come. There was kind of two main players that were involved in this. One of them was a little more behind the scenes, which was Otto Hightower, and the other one, who was much more forward with it, was Corlys with his eldest daughter. Seeing how both of these characters approach this situation really developed them in this episode, and I really enjoyed seeing how Corlys was more forward, kind of pulling on tradition, and that his daughter has the blood of the old Valyria and also of the Targaryens. And Otto, he's definitely been in the shadows, lurking, slowly planting his daughter in the room of King Viserys, and kind of planting in Viserys' head the comfort and the potential love interest that can be there with his daughter. While everyone is caught up playing matchmaker with King Viserys, Princess Rhaenyra is having her own internal struggles with where she stands as the heir. She sees that her dad doesn't really take her serious and kind of just pushes her to the side when she brings ideas to the small council. And she's trying to kind of figure this new playing field out of where she stands and just what type of power she really has. I'm still really curious about this character because I'm not really sure if she is gung-ho on getting the Iron Throne, but I do think that she wants to earn the respect and the recognition of those around her instead of being constantly pushed to the side. So while she's trying to gather her thoughts and kind of find her place, she tries to find some comfort inside of her friend Alicent, who she doesn't know is secretly going and visiting her father at random times throughout the day, taking him gifts, and trying to get on his good side and in his good graces. Alicent is a character that we didn't get too much of in episode 1, and I had a prediction that we were going to get more of her in this episode, and I'm glad we did. I think she's an interesting character. She's going and visiting the king, bringing him gifts, and kind of trying to poke at his love interest for her. And all the time, she's also talking to her dad, who's kind of throwing her in there, telling her to go visit him. And I can't tell if she's entirely sold on the idea, and she's keeping it a secret from her best friend Rhaenyra, which I'm pretty sure she's not big on. Now, her father, Otto Hightower, obviously has his own agenda as well. On one hand, while he's trying to be sneaky about throwing his daughter into the room of the king and kind of piquing his love interest, he's also kind of understanding or siding with Corlys, who's throwing out the idea of the king marrying his daughter. Moments like those, and also the interaction between Rhaenyra and Rhaenys, are some of the highlights of the episode for me. I really like to see how everybody is not just one-sided. They are talking to some people, giving them some information, talking to others, giving them others, and it's not so heavy-handed or thrown in your face as much as it is open to interpretation. We aren't completely certain of what a lot of these characters' motives are and where they're trying to end up. Everything production-wise around the episode was super solid as well. I thought some of the costumes were really nice, especially the one that Rhaenyra wears when she arrives at Dragonstone. And I thought that the CGI, there was a couple of parts that were not the best, but they weren't terrible. They didn't completely pull me out, but I did notice them. Mainly it was one shot, I believe it was of the Sept in King's Landing, that just seems a little unfinished texture-wise. Once again, I was a little bit disappointed with the soundtrack. I knew that this week we were going to be getting the opening credits, which I thought was a really cool animation that kind of played on the original one from Game of Thrones, but I was a little disappointed to hear the same song from Game of Thrones. I guess I just gotta accept that. I think they're going to try to embrace that sound or that song as the song of the world of Game of Thrones, and that's okay. Overall, I thought the episode was strong. It introduced us to the political drama and relationships between characters that I think wasn't too expanded on in the first episode. It also introduced us to some of the other conflicts that are going on in the world with the crab eaters. With the introduction of this new big baddie, I think the next episode is really going to focus around them and Daemon. At the end of the episode, we see that Corlys comes to talk to Daemon and kind of tells him like we're one and the same and that we should team up and be a powerhouse together. And this next episode, I believe, is going to focus around that. And we're really going to go ahead and get to see another side of Daemon that we didn't see in episode 1. In episode 1, we really got to see Daemon poking at people, and in this episode, he continues to poke at people as well. Even when he's not in King's Landing, whether it be stealing the egg or just writing notes to the king, he knows how to upset people, and he knows how to get them going. But at the end of the episode, when Corlys brings up the idea of him going and kind of confronting the crab eaters, that's a little bit more noble. I wouldn't say noble, but a little more on the good side of a thing that Daemon could do, especially because it would be looked upon lightly in the eyes of the people of Westeros. So I think that is an interesting move for Daemon, and it definitely adds more of that gray character level that I hope we get out of him. Overall, I'm going to go ahead and give this episode an 8 out of 10. I believe episode 1 I gave a 9. I think this was a super solid episode. It definitely built on relationships, character motivations, and also introduced some of the other drama and events that are going on inside of the world. So it was a super solid episode, and it gave me comfort that we're going to get more of what we loved about those initial seasons of Game of Thrones in this show as well. It's not going to just be spectacle. But I want to hear what you guys thought about it. Like, comment, subscribe. We love to discuss all things House of the Dragon, fantasy, sci-fi, video games, movies, and TV shows. So please comment, let's continue the discussion, and I will catch you guys next week for episode 3.